You buy all these materials and you're taxed on that. Like you're taxed on your wages, right? So
100%.
just you're wanting to start up a business, you're taxed on your wages. You're taxed on all the materials that you buy, right? And then when you start up a small business, now you're taxed on your more labor, right? So you're making a product, right, for the benefit of others, right? Or, some for yourself, I mean, you get to be a little bit selfish, not just too much. That's why I asked you, how much profit is enough, right? You are taxed at every step of the way.
We're back now with the Khaos Project. I'm here with Bear and Chap.
From now on, we're going to let our guests introduce the shows.
Hey, man, that's fine, man. I have a small peanut-sized bladder. It's,
TMI.
Hey, man, part of this is being open, honest, and vulnerable.
Hey, man, we're still hanging here with our good friend Sam
BMF Jones.
Hey, he's got a great company, from what I understand.
Absolutely, man. So you had mentioned you owned a small business, and we got into some of the struggles that you had, starting up that business and some of the adversities that you faced and making that successful. I know you had mentioned construction. What's your business called? What do you do, actually?
It's called Stone Castle Constructors, named after my past business partner had Stone Castle Industries, where they manufactured cast stone. So we became Stone Castle Constructors as a branch of that. Like I said, he was a majority owner. So Stone Castle Constructors is what it's called. We build residential development and amenities, parks, playgrounds, sidewalks, landscaping within communities. We don't do that. We sub that out 100%. Walls around communities, big entry monuments, stuff like that.
So you have your hand in a lot of pots. You do a lot of things.
We bid as much as we can, and we get what we low bid. Best I can offer that. We have some customers that are, only use us, and we don't have to bid the work. We just negotiate it, and some that we low bid, see how it goes.
So you're the boss. You are the CEO, the boss, the MF in charge.
True. I've assigned no title to myself.
What type of boss are you, brother?
I try really hard to be a virtuous boss. Somebody that rewards hard work, punishes the wrong thing. I understand mistakes will happen, so I try to. An honest mistake is an honest mistake. Something you didn't plan for, prepare for, get ready for. I like to say that I don't lose my composure from time to time again, but I do. And usually at the point of impact, I might. And I usually go back and apologize and say I shouldn't have done that. But we figure a way to work through it. But try to almost through the Bible, do unto others as you would want done unto you. We've all had poor leaders, and you learn a lot. You learn more from a bad leader than you do from a good one. And, what not to do, how not to treat people, and So I try to treat everybody with as much respect as humanly possible. And I say everybody. We got a very small little business. There's only a few of us, so handful of us.
Right. So it's more like a family.
More like a family.
Yeah. I like it.
And the main project manager, vice president that works with us, he's the son of my old business partner. He's he is his son, so it is a family business, and that's my best friend's little brother. So it's it is a family.
I like it.
It's good.
I like it.
That's
We've
fantastic.
all been together for 15 years. There's nobody really new to the team.
So some of the struggles with owning a small business in today's, I guess, climate, such as inflation. How has that affected your business? Government regulation, government oversight, and just overall inflation, man. I mean, the cost of groceries is going up exponentially. The cost of gas, but I mean, construction materials, man. At one point in time, I was thinking about posting my popsicle sticks on eBay.
You probably get about $30 a foot for them.
A mini deck for a mini house.
We're in a low bid market, and then won't start a project for fastest 90 days after we hard bid it, fixed contract, and it's hard to negotiate anything once you're in a fixed price contract to get anything. So,
Right.
Inflation is, I don't want to say it's everything, but it affects the bottom line in a way that you almost can't account for. You can't prepare for it. You can try, but I mean, ultimately trying to manage damage. Damage control is the whole name of the game in every way, because I got an update last 2 weeks ago saying health insurance was going to go up $200 per person on the plan. Like, how do you plan that? How do you prep for it? How do you get ready for it, and why?
And bottom line is that cost is passed on to the end user.
Yeah, that's us. That's me, and that's the where the buck stops. Is now I have to figure out how to facilitate that extra cost in my daily cost to figure out how to become not even necessarily profitable. I'll go with a break even just to cover cost to make sure that you're doing the right thing, which is hard. Hard is an understatement. It's a daily struggle.
Doing the right thing is never easy, brother.
And contractors by proclamations are liars, cheaters, and they're doing the easiest way to get to the end to save as much money to make as much profit. Anything you can do to eliminate that from who you are as a contractor is the ultimate goal. But doing it that way is hard to turn a profit and do the right thing.
In your opinion, I know you're a humble guy. We talked about checking your ego, man. How much profit is enough? You look at these big businesses, and there's a couple big businesses that pretty much own everything. They're pretty much monopolies.
So, if you're asking my personal opinion, you have your low-cost countries where you outsource all of your manufacturing, your production, all of your work. The United States is a high-cost country where we don't do anything here because it costs too much money. So you have your massive retail giants outsourcing everything to third world countries and cheaper places to manufacture, produce, and do anything. Well, while doing that, as a country, I feel like I've read, and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know, but I will say that if you're importing more than you're exporting, you're eventually going to go under. There's no way to continue operating that way because you're not manufacturing anything, you're not making anything, you're not producing anything. And if we continue to send everything overseas and then population growth, where are these people going to work? Everybody can't be an influencer on the internet.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we can't.
America is America because of small business.
That's right.
We were industry giants. We made everything, and now, and I think personally, it's just we've become a very greedy culture, and greed fosters let somebody else make it if it's cheaper. I think it's absolutely ridiculous when we mine a product, let's say, or an ore. It's cheaper to send it to China on a ship. They refine it, ship it back. We put it in one of our factories and turn it into something. It's cheaper to do that than it is for us to refine it ourselves. Does that even make sense?
No.
It doesn't to me.
Not a bit.
We buy meat from foreign countries and ship it over to this country. We used to have people in Texas that ranched and sold beef. There's still some. All right? But we spend more time and money shipping stuff from other countries. Why can't we grow our own cows? Why can't we grow our own cows anymore, man?
I think that we do. I believe that the American cattle raisers can't go through the production process and be profitable at the end.
Yeah, that's
the reason they don't do it. So you can get on the internet or in an app and probably buy meat and have it shipped direct without going through big retail.
Yeah.
And they still will do that, but that's the only way that they can make money.
And I think that's a problem.
A huge problem.
Government regulation on top of government regulation, on top of all kind of other economic things, and we don't need to go into all that, but I just think overall, inflation is man-made, and inflation in this country is definitely man-made. It's man-driven. So, perfect example, you're in construction.
Yep.
Hey, man, I bought my house that I live in today 6 years ago. Bought it for $90 a square foot. All right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sharp, For me to rebuild that house today, 6 years, 6 stinking years, all right? $214 a square foot, and I'll get less house.
Yep.
That's man-made. That is not the natural way of business in a country.
Yep.
And so I feel your pain, brother.
Well, you go to Burger King and order a cheeseburger. It's just the burger, no fries, no drink. It's $14. You have to make more money. Inflation. I mean, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
It's all real.
It's all, yeah.
That drives up wages. That drives up, healthcare. Everything is just so much more expensive. We talked about differences and commonalities. That's one thing that we all face is that struggle, man. Putting food on the table.
And the people that regulate it, when's the last time they bought a gallon of milk?
Well,
Dozen eggs.
Well, and I got in a lot of trouble back in 2021. I was doing some podcasts. I mentioned some of this earlier. I got in a lot of trouble by some people that own platforms because I believed, even to this day, and I'll say it, and if it gets me kicked off again, c'est la vie. I'm 100% believing that 20 and 21 was the machine used to destroy our economy economically because we have yet to come back. And it was in those times that inflation went out of control. 20 and 21. All of a sudden you couldn't get nothing. Everybody gets behind. I just think that 2021 has driven our country on a trajectory that, because of greed and other regulations that are out of our control, has got us on a trajectory of failure.
Well, I think it's designed wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'll admit that I know enough to know I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that if you have 2 quarters that don't generate growth, you're in an automatic recession.
Automatically.
Automatic. It's an instant.
Mm-hmm.
So based on that model alone, you have to figure out a way to produce more to make more money. And I believe that us little tax agents, individual tax agents, business taxes, big tax, we're all taxed to generate that growth.
Mm-hmm.
The gross domestic product doesn't grow a little bit, then we ultimately fail.
Right.
So profit has to be there. The big business has to make a little more money. So we've created an entity to produce off-site so that we can make more. It's designed that way. It's an ultimate design. So he who designed it wrong. I don't know who he is.
Yeah,
I blame him.
Yeah, we got in this mindset now that hey, taxation fixes the problem.
Absolutely.
No, taxation creates the problem when it's not being done correctly.
It might be wrong, but didn't we take this country because of taxation without representation?
Yes.
Is that not what we're doing again?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The exact thing we overcame is what we are becoming?
Man, we'll have to do a show now. My mind is, y'all got me reeling, man. What's actually the legal taxation constitutionally in this country? What we have now is illegal. But that's a whole other conversation. I don't want to say 2 things that'll get us kicked off today. But I want to talk about that someday. We'll bring Chris in next time we want to talk because he don't mind.
Yeah. Sergeant Major, he can take it.
Sergeant Major can handle the pressure. That's right.
A couple of you novices can't take it.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, man, you look at a small business, man, you buy everything, you buy all these materials, and you're taxed on that. Like, you're taxed on your wages, right? So
100%.
you're wanting to start up a business, you're taxed on your wages, you're taxed on all the materials that you buy, right? And then when you start up a small business, now you're taxed on more labor, right? So you're making a product, right, for the benefit of others, right? Or, some for yourself, you get to be a little bit selfish, not just too much. That's why I asked you, how much profit is enough, right? You are taxed at every step of the way.
And that's only the production side. You still have to have every kind of insurance, whether that be workers' comp, whether that be general liability, whether that be
We hadn't got to operations
yes,
yet.
and, rent, power, water. There's so much more. The actual work is the easiest part of running a business. Getting the work done. That's my favorite part. So you talked about regulation earlier, and I started in construction 25 years ago, I guess. Even before I was in the military, I worked on a road construction for a very good family friend, still a very good family friend. They still run the business. It's phenomenal. They're phenomenal humans. While I worked on a road crew for them 25 years ago. Worked. It was easier then. We didn't have 5 different inspectors. You didn't have 14 different kinds of permits. You didn't have to go through every regulated step, every inspection. And I get why it's all there, because contractors cheat and they need to be checked. I get it.
Right.
But all of that regulation just creates more cost. That how do you incorporate into a project, because you don't really know what step they're adding through the process. You can try, but most municipalities, you call them, they don't know what they're going to do, so they try not to tell you. You know, your permit's going to cost $500. Well, it could be 2.5% of, and then that of is a blanket. Could be what you do in the right of way. Could be what you do out of the right of way. It changes
Right.
almost daily
What gets you more money?
for the municipality, not for the company.
Right.
It's not about the contractor at all. It's about the developer's continued growth because they have investors they have to answer to as well. And if they're not continuing growth and their investors leave, they lose their revenue, and then ultimately it all fails. So the lowest rung is the contractor, and even lower than them is the guys that work for the contractor. So
Well, you know, if you're watching what's going on out there, and maybe I'm not connected well, but it appears to me that the very movement that's taking place in this country is to eradicate the small businessman. We, the small businessman, can barely survive today, whereas that's what built this country. It was the small business, not the big business, because small business is who takes care of all the families, all the communities, all the things. Big business comes in, try to get some money, and they'll throw off some leftovers for you to fend with, okay? And so I really believe that right now, culturally, there is a political agenda. Okay, this is number 3, everybody. There is a political agenda going around in our country that the more small businesses that we can get bought up by big businesses and relinquish their power, the more they can control the citizenship and the citizenry. Because right now, I was thinking, I used to buy land and have fun with it and build stuff on it. The common man today cannot buy land where I live. You can't. A working man cannot buy land because these big corporations are buying 7,000 to 8,000 acres at a time and putting houses on them, but which throws up the value and the estimated value of property everywhere around it. So the common working man can't own property anymore. Does that sound familiar? I mean,
and if you can buy the land, if you can get the loan, if you can do it, you're getting that loan at 8%.
yes.
The interest alone will eat you alive. Forget about the principal. So, yes, the common man can't really do anything. You have to be.
And when the common man can't be a property owner, to me that was one of the big pushes for America when we separated our ways from where we came from. Americans could worship the God they wanted to worship. Everyone had the opportunity to be landowners and own property for themselves for family legacy. Man, they're wanting to get rid of the religious stuff in this culture. They're wanting to get rid of land ownership, property ownership. They just want everybody to live in an apartment under some governmental control. And I think that's a dangerous trajectory for humanity in this country.
We talked about inflation, you know, I mean, that affects every industry.
Everything.
Every industry.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you can apply contractor to whatever term you want, whether it's a military contractor, industrial contractor, construction contractor. You know, I mean, you said it the other day, we were having a conversation. The average person lives off of, what was it?
About 115% of their income.
And that's an atrocity. So just to make ends meet.
Credit cards. Debt. We live on debt.
Right.
So, with that being said, if you look at 2008, I talked about it earlier when I had rough times. 2008, big banks, big business, failed, and ultimately fell on their faces. They were bailed out and backed up by the government, who then offered tremendous amounts of loans at low interest for us to go deeper into debt as a way for them to get out of it.
Yeah.
So didn't they follow the business model that they punished the common man for doing at the 115%?
Yes, they
Which is
did.
how you have to live, but they all did it, and they got bailed out.
Yeah.
You do it, and you file bankruptcy, and you can't buy anything. You're living in your apartment under your gray life where you can't
That's right.
afford anything other than the cheapest car, doing the cheapest thing. In your opinion, does that create a bitter society?
No.
No.
It does not. That's not a better society.
Bitter.
Bitter.
Oh, bitter.
Not
Oh,
better.
bitter. Yes. I changed my.
Rules for thee and not for me.
That's right.
We should be leaders in ethics, integrity, morality. That's just my opinion. That's what our country used to stand for, those things. We came into existence to be leaders in those areas culturally. We're failing greatly, and I'm concerned about the next generation when it comes to economics, the financial situation. My kids can't buy property. My kids can't afford loans. My children, you know what I'm saying? So, and my kids are, they're doing well in life, but they still can't because the system is rigged. The system is rigged.
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But
or at least it feels that way.
It feels,
I don't like that generalization to say that it's designed for everybody to fail. People do make it through.
Sure they do.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are both sides to the story, I believe. I think some, not all, not most, but some can find a way.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we're the land of opportunity, right?
I
believe
agree.
That's still to be true. It's weird that most people within this United States curse it, cuss it, say it's bad, say we're going to leave it. Then why do so many people
Want to come here.
want to come here?
I still think this is the greatest place in the world to live.
So there you go. So
Okay.
it is.
And
It takes good leadership to change it.
good leadership. That's what we need. And we need some changes. And, we get on our high horse, and that's part of being American. We get on our high horse, but at the end of the day, here we are. We're talking about tough things because we want to help it get better.
That's right.
And we want to encourage one another to succeed in the midst of the difficulty. And success is still available. It just is going to come at a higher price.
That's correct. Equal opportunity. You talked about grit earlier. Equal opportunity does not result. It doesn't equal outcome or equal output, right? You can never factor in a person's hustle, a person's grit, right? If you want it bad enough, go work for it, right? And again, it may take some more work, but it is achievable. It's still the greatest country on earth, like you said.
I'm a firm believer in equality. But equality means equal opportunity. Doesn't mean equal outcome, just like you said. We should all have the same opportunities regardless of what we look like or where we come from. Now, that doesn't mean we're all going to get there.